"We're not enemies," she explained in a video. "He's still my best friend. We're always going to be in each other's lives, but we both need to grow in different ways."
You really need to stop lying.
Do it without him because I feel like it's wrong to only put out one side.
You really need to stop lying.
Okay, so the story is that we are getting divorced because of our decision. It's my best friend. I still love her to death. Like, we still got a child together. We still gonna be hanging out. Probably
all the time.
Most days of the week. But at the end of the day, we got shit to do. That's it. You feel me? She has a path to go. I got a path to go. But our paths to pay her live. And we always gonna be next to each other.
Yeah.
And who's to say what's gonna happen in the future? All we know is right now. Right now. It's the best. I mean, real talk, it's the best decision for both of us. For her to do what she needs to do, for me to do what I need to do.
I hate you. You're gonna die. I don't want to do this.
You feel me?
This is the most casual divorce, pending divorce, or separation I ever seen in my life. They act like it's no big deal.
She has a path to go. I got a path to go, but our paths to pay her live.
July 28th, 2023. A mother is found in her bathroom, a plastic bag taped around her head. Police ruled it suicide within hours. Her 7-year-old son said otherwise. He saw his parents fight. He saw his mother's feet on the floor, unmoving. He was the first to find her lifeless body. He told the police.
How did we go from it's cool that we get separated, it's cool that we might get a divorce, to this? How did we get to this? And we know, guys, sometimes kids don't lie.
And when her mother demanded answers, the police silenced her. A gag order, a custody battle, a year of injustice. Now ask yourself, if this was your daughter, your sister, your mother, would you believe it was suicide?
No, I wouldn't believe it was suicide. However, you're not about to put no gag order on me and something happened to my daughter like this. That ain't gonna be happening.
April was born on July 6th, 1994, in Altamonte Springs, Florida. From the beginning, her life was filled with potential. She was raised in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, a place she would later call home.
Pretty girl, nice looking family. How could something like this happen?
The city, located just outside Nashville, was a growing community with both suburban charm and urban opportunity. It was here that she attended Riverdale High School, where she graduated in 2012. April had always been driven, independent, and deeply motivated. She didn't just follow the traditional path, she carved her own. She saw beauty as an art form and turned that passion into a profession. Over the years, she built a career as a lash technician, working tirelessly to perfect her craft.
So she was really trying to do something with her life, not just sitting around being a housewife. She was really getting out there and trying to do something.
Creating a brand that spoke to both beauty and empowerment. But her impact stretched beyond her business. April was known for her uplifting spirit and motivational messages. She believed in manifestation, in pushing forward through challenges, and in speaking life into the things she wanted. Through TikTok, she found a platform where she could share her wisdom with a growing audience.
Okay, I'm praying this is not another social media killing. That's what I'm hoping. This is not.
You want to know the hardest part about being a Christian? Not even being a Christian. Being an enlightened spiritual being is listening to your spirit over your loud-ass ego. Yes, your humanly bodily flesh. That's loud and strong and has had power over our lives for a majority of our life until we become enlightened.
With over 200,000 followers, her page became a space for encouragement, faith, and personal growth.
So she was doing her thing on social media, getting the word out there. She said she is a Christian, reading Bible scriptures, knowing the word. Let's see what happened. What could have happened?
She would post videos about self-care, staying positive, and finding strength in difficult moments. In one video she said, "I just pray and send good energy to anybody who's seeing this. I hope you have an amazing day on purpose. Be intentional. Grow just a little bit."
I like that. I hope you have an amazing day on purpose. I really like that saying.
Progress over perfection. Her life was about more than just surviving. It was about thriving.
Pretty girl, pretty girl. Let's zoom in on this husband, though. A very attractive girl. Together, a very attractive couple. But alone, this guy, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. His looks are lacking a little bit, if you ask me.
She worked hard for her children, for her family, for herself. And despite the struggles she faced, she never stopped believing that better days were ahead. But even those who radiate the most positivity can be carrying burdens that others don't see. April Holt met Donovan Holt years before their lives would become entangled in tragedy. Their relationship started as a friendship, one that blossomed into something more.
I don't know how he pulled that one. She is a looker, and I'm not really sure how he pulled that. Okay, because it's not all about looks, guys. I don't want you to think that, but that guy, I don't know. We about to see.
Donovan was charming.
Ooh, he a little rough on the eyes. Okay, see what I'm saying? He's a little rough on the eyes. Not the shiniest apple in the basket, if you know what I mean.
Funny, and seemingly devoted to her. From the outside, they were the perfect couple. Young, ambitious, and deeply in love. As their relationship grew, so did their family. April had 2 children, her daughter, Serenity, from a previous relationship, and her son, Denzel, with Donovan. They built a home together, and for a while it seemed like they had found happiness.
I'm hoping this guy didn't do something to her that took her away from her children. Now that would really be sad.
Online, their love story was one worth celebrating. They posted affectionate videos, played along with social media trends, and shared glimpses of their relationship for the world to see. April would praise her husband, describing him as her best friend. In one video, the two sat together, laughing as Donovan admitted the secret to their marriage was friendship first. "If we weren't friends first, we wouldn't have lasted," he said. April agreed. She spoke of their bond, their connection, their ability to overcome challenges. She made it clear that no matter what, they were in this together. But behind the social media filters and carefully curated moments, reality looked much different.
How do y'all feel about having your relationship all on social media? I don't know if I totally agree with that. You know, at what point can you still have a relationship without social media? That's my whole thing. After the camera is off, what really goes down?
Those close to April knew that the relationship wasn't as picture perfect as it seemed.
See?
There were financial struggles, conflicts, and long periods of separation. At one point, they even lived apart. They tried to make it work, tried to hold on to the idea that things would get better.
So they lived apart for a little bit, okay? Did they post that on TikTok? Did they put that on social media? Or they only showing you the good side?
Boss. She spoke openly about it, saying that while the decision was difficult, it was what they both needed. "We're not enemies," she explained in a video. "He's still my best friend. We're always going to be in each other's lives, but we both need to grow in different ways."
You really need to stop lying.
Do it without him because I feel like it's wrong to only put out one side.
You really need to stop lying.
Okay, so the story is that we are getting divorced because of our decision. It's my best friend. I still love her to death. Like, we still got a child together. We still gonna be hanging out. Probably
All the
gonna see
time.
it most days of the week. But at the end of the day, we got shit to do. That's it. You feel me? She has a path to go. I got a path to go, but I pass to pay her live. And we always gonna be next to each other.
Yeah.
And who's to say what's gonna happen in the future? All we know is right now. Right now, it's the best. I mean, real talk, it's the best decision for both of us. For her to do what she needs to do, for me to do what I need to do. So
we can grow and heal and
that's it.
Elevate.
They're really casual about this thing. They are really casual about this thing. The thing that I don't like that he said that we have one child together. Well, she already had a child. Okay, are you not recognizing that child as well? You know, that's a package deal right there.
No hard feelings. This is not a messy divorce or anything like that. We don't do that. This is like I said. Like he said, this is my best friend at the end of the day. He has been before the relationship, before the marriage, before the kid. So nothing's gonna change that. So
Like, look at her, brother. I would never lose this forever. For real, Emily.
See, that's scary. He said, I will never lose this forever. Okay? It's weird to me.
so we're good, y'all. We're
For real,
good.
like for real, for real.
Promise y'all.
That's it.
She didn't seem angry. She wasn't bitter. She was ready to move forward. But not everyone was willing to let go. And just 14 days later, she was gone. Her mother, Jamie, would...
So 14 days later, after making that video, something happened to her. 14 days. Y'all on camera smiling it up like nothing is wrong, and 14 days later, something happens.
would later say that this wasn't a coincidence, that the timing of her daughter's death wasn't random. April had decided to leave, and just like that, her life was taken. The morning of July 28th, 2023, started like any other. April Holt woke up early, the way she always did. She had a routine: make coffee, sit down with her journal, and set her intentions for the day. She believed in starting her mornings with clarity, using her words to manifest the life she wanted. Her 7-year-old son, Denzel, was awake too. He was her shadow, always nearby, always looking to her for guidance. That morning, she hugged him, kissed him on the forehead, and told him she loved him.
Okay. I'm looking at this video, and it seems like they really faking the funk on social media. Okay, what I don't like about this particular video is that I don't see the other child. Now, earlier we saw the other child, but what's going on right here? Where's the other child? Okay, this boy is 7, so her other child has to be older than this one. Where is the other child? Is the husband not accepting that child?
It was a simple moment, one that should have been like any other. But something was different. April and Donovan Holt had been arguing more frequently. Their relationship, once held together by love and friendship, had fractured beyond repair. The divorce she had filed for 2 weeks earlier was no longer just a conversation. It was a reality. As the morning passed, their conversation turned into a heated exchange. Their apartment walls were thin, and neighbors recalled muffled shouting.
Okay, here we go. Now, all of a sudden, it ain't cool no more. Y'all were cool about it 14 days ago, but now there's an issue.
The words sharper. And then, silence. Something wasn't right. Denzel, standing just outside the bathroom, lowered himself to the floor and peered under the door. That's when he saw them. 2 feet, April's feet, lying motionless on the floor.
It's a sad thing when a child has to see something like this. It's really sad. The post-traumatic stress disorder that comes after this is sad. No child should have to go through this.
A chill ran through his small body. He didn't know what was happening, but his mother wasn't standing anymore. He ran to his room. He waited. A short time later, Donovan entered, his tone much calmer now. He got Denzel dressed, made him something to eat, and sat with him at the table. And then he said something that Denzel would never forget. "Go check on your mom." Denzel, doing as he was told, walked toward the bathroom.
Okay, so this husband is crazy. You know you've harmed this lady, the mother of this little boy. You feed him breakfast, get him ready for school. The little boy knows something's wrong with his mom, and then you go and tell him to go check on her, knowing that she might not be okay. Something's wrong with you. You want your child to see this. You want your child to see his mother like this.
He reached for the door handle, but it was locked. He paused, then tried again. The door opened, and that's when he saw her. His mother was on the floor. A plastic bag was tightly taped around her head.
Okay, so you sent your child to see his mother like this. Okay, something wrong with you. Something is really wrong with you that you want your child to see that.
She wasn't moving. She wasn't speaking. Something inside him screamed that this wasn't right. Denzel turned and ran. The next moments were a blur. A 911 call. Paramedics rushing in, the hospital doors swinging open. April was still breathing when they arrived, but she had no brain function. The doctors did everything they could, but the damage had been done.
So, no, you ain't by the hospital bed looking all caring, okay? So you allowed your son to see his mother like that. Something wrong with you. You need to be on medication. Something's wrong with you that you would allow your son to go to that room knowing that something was wrong with her.
3 days later, on July 31st, 2023, April Holt was pronounced dead.
And you sitting by the bedside. The whole time, you making everybody think, oh, I hope she's okay. But in reality, you know you wanted her to die.
The medical examiner would later classify her death as a suicide. But April's mother, Jamie Dickerson, knew that wasn't true. When April Holt was pronounced dead on July 31st, 2023, the official explanation came swiftly. The medical examiner's report stated that her death was suicide, caused by complications of suffocation. The police accepted this ruling without hesitation.
Okay, you suffocate yourself putting a plastic bag over your head. Okay, if I was the mother, I wouldn't believe that crap either. That is a little far-fetched.
According to their investigation, April had locked herself in the bathroom, placed a plastic bag over her head, and secured it with duct tape. There were no immediate signs of a struggle, no defensive wounds, and no witnesses who could confirm otherwise. Case closed. But the report contained inconsistencies. Inconsistencies that April's mother, Jamie Dickerson, would not ignore. There were bruises on April's neck, bruises on her ankles, signs that did not match the police's explanation.
Okay, so how did the police miss this? How did they miss that this girl has all these bruises?
If April had taken her own life, why were there pressure marks on her body? If this had been a suicide, why did it look like she had been restrained?
Exactly.
Despite these red flags, the authorities dismissed the possibility of foul play. They pointed to a lack of direct eyewitnesses. They noted that April and Donovan were the only ones home when the incident happened. And most importantly, they accepted Donovan's version of events without question.
Okay, I'm missing something. I thought the little boy was at home at one point. Okay, the police is getting this all jacked up.
His alibi? He had been taking care of their son.
Exactly. Like I said, the son was at home. So did they talk to the son?
It was enough for them. But it wasn't enough for Jamie. From the moment Jamie saw her daughter in the hospital, she knew something wasn't right. She looked at April's body, at the marks on her skin, the bruises on her face, and immediately her instincts told her this was no suicide. She asked the doctors questions. She pressed for details. And every answer led to more questions.
So the mother is in the hospital room asking the doctors all kind of questions. I bet you that husband was on edge, hoping that the mother wouldn't figure it out. What really happened to her daughter?
Jamie had known her daughter her entire life. April had never expressed suicidal thoughts. She had never hinted at wanting to harm herself. If anything, she was excited for her future. She was getting out of her marriage. She was focused on her business. She was devoted to her children. And one detail stood out more than anything else. Why would April use a plastic bag? It was...
Yeah, that's a little far-fetched, that you would try to suffocate yourself. That is a far-fetched right there.
Uncharacteristic. It was something that didn't match the person Jamie knew her daughter to be. The authorities may have closed the case, but Jamie was just getting started, and what she was about to uncover would change everything. The case was closed too fast. There were too many unanswered questions, and most importantly, April would never have done this to herself. Jamie wasn't going to let the investigation stop there. If the police weren't going to search for the truth, then she would do it herself.
Okay, Mama is not having it. Mama see all those bruises on her neck. It looked like the girl had been bound and abused. Mama's not having these excuses.
Her first step was requesting case files, autopsy reports, and police records. She needed to see the details for herself, and almost immediately she found a problem. The plastic bag found around April's head, the very object that ended her, had never been tested for fingerprints.
Uh-oh. Okay, Mama is on the case. Okay, she's not about to let her daughter go out like this. She's going to find out who did it.
Why? Why would the police not analyze the most critical piece of evidence? It didn't make sense. Then there was Denzel's testimony, the one voice that should have been heard from the beginning.
Exactly.
Jamie sat with her grandson and listened as he described the final moments before his mother was found. His words sent chills through her. Denzel spoke about what he believed happened to his mother. "I feel like my dad's the one who did everything."
Boom. There you go. There you go. Okay, a kid is not going to lie on their parent. 9 times out of 10, especially in a situation like this. There you go. He has spoken, and I believe this is the truth.
"I feel like my dad's the one who always made my mom mad or sad or a lot of other emotions." He continued, his voice trembling, trying to put into words something no child should ever have to say. "I know that everyone in my family is sad, mad, and my dad, he's pretty guilty. My dad says stuff that he's not supposed to, so I feel like I can't really be around him. I don't feel like I can be around him." Jamie knew that a child doesn't make up something like that. He had seen too much. He had heard too much, and yet...
Exactly. That little boy knows exactly what happened to his mom. He knows it.
Pain, spreading April's story across social media. She reached out to journalists, true crime creators, and anyone willing to listen. She demanded answers. She demanded justice. And then she got the breakthrough she had been waiting for. Months after April's death, Jamie finally got her hands on new forensic evidence. And what she found confirmed her worst fears.
Okay,
there was only one set of fingerprints on the plastic bag and the tape. And they did not belong to April.
Boom.
They belonged to Donovan Holt.
Boom, boom.
This was it. The proof she needed. But there was more. Jamie, viewed by a medical expert, someone who wasn't tied to the original police investigation. And their conclusion? April's bruises were not consistent with self-inflicted harm.
Boom.
The marks on her neck, ankles and face told a very different story.
Boom, boom.
A story of force. April hadn't done this to herself. Jamie knew it. And now she had proof. But she wasn't going to stop there.
Okay, this mother is on it. Okay, she is playing private detective, and she's going to find out what happened to her daughter.
She had one more move to make. She confronted Donovan directly. And this time, she recorded the conversation.
Boom.
What he admitted changed everything. As Jamie Dickerson pushed forward with her investigation, she became a problem for the authorities. She was vocal. She was relentless. She refused to let April's case be forgotten. She posted on social media every day, detailing the inconsistencies in the investigation. She shared forensic evidence, her grandson's testimony, and the lack of proper police work.
Why isn't the police listening to the grandson? That's what I don't understand.
And then, the police tried to silence her. In a shocking move, Jamie was issued a gag order.
Okay, that ain't going down. If that was my daughter, ain't no gag order. I'm going to find out what happened to her. There ain't going to be no gag orders.
Legally preventing her from speaking publicly about April's case. She could no longer post updates. She could no longer
Really?
share evidence. She
Really?
could no longer talk about her own daughter's death. The message was clear. Stop pushing for justice.
My name is Jamie Dickerson. I have an 8-year gag order until my grandson is 18.
So she has to be quiet for 8 years until her grandson turns 18 before she could say something more about her daughter's case. So that means this husband who possibly killed her daughter is just going to be sitting around free because she can't talk. Nah, that's not going down.
But Jamie refused to be silenced. In response, she posted a photo of herself with tape over her mouth. A simple yet powerful message. Every day, she uploaded a similar photo, and each time she counted the days. Day 1, Day 5, Day 10. As long as they tried to silence her, she would keep fighting. And then something happened that the police couldn't ignore. Jamie had spent months gathering evidence. She had witness statements, forensic proof, and her grandson's account. But she needed one more thing. She needed Donovan to admit the truth. So she confronted him. In a recorded conversation,
Uh-oh. Is he gonna spill the beans? We about to see.
she laid out everything she had, the bruises, the fingerprints, the staged crime scene. She told him she wasn't going to stop. And that's when Donovan broke. He confessed. He admitted to strangling April in anger.
Okay. You gonna confess to killing my daughter, you sitting across the kitchen table from me? It's about to be a big problem up in this camp.
He said they had been arguing, that things had gotten out of control. And then, in a moment of rage, he ended her life. But he didn't.
So you kept this secret about killing her daughter for how long? You didn't say a word.
She had done it to herself. He waited. Then he told their 7-year-old son to go check on her. It was cold, calculated, heartless.
You're right, heartless. Why would you send your child in there to witness his mother in that condition? Something is wrong with you.
And now it was on tape. Jamie had everything she needed. She took the recorded confession straight to the police. There was no more denying it. They had ignored her for months, but now they had no choice.
Good.
The case was reopened. With Donovan's confession on record, the medical examiner reviewed April's autopsy once again. This time, the cause of death was officially changed to homicide.
Good.
There was no more talk of suicide. The crime was exactly what Jamie had been saying all along. Murder. On July 2024, Donovan Holt was arrested in San Antonio, Texas.
He should have been arrested, okay? Especially when they discovered his fingerprints were the only fingerprints on the bag that suffocated his wife. He should have got locked up then. He should have got locked up when his own son said he did it.
He had fled Tennessee, trying to start over in a new state. But Jamie made sure he wouldn't escape justice. He was extradited back to Tennessee, where he now faced serious charges: reckless homicide, evidence tampering, false reporting. For an entire year, he had walked free. For an entire year, Jamie had been ignored. But now, justice was finally in motion.
Good for Jamie. Okay, she did what any mother would do in this situation. What I don't like is this guy held on to this secret. He was at her bedside acting like he wanted her to live, knowing the whole time that he killed her.
The next step? His day in court? The legal battle begins. Jamie fights to upgrade the charges from reckless homicide to first-degree murder.
Hey guys, so Jamie Dickerson here, mother of April Holt. I made a post earlier letting you guys know that her autopsy has been changed from a suicide to a homicide. I also want to update you that there has been an arrest. The detective called me and did tell me that Donovan Holt has been arrested in the state of Texas for the homicide of April Holt. He is being transported back to Tennessee. And so that is the update for now. We do have him in handcuffs and he is being transported back. So now we're just waiting for the next steps. But I can't thank everybody enough for the prayers and support that we do get for our family. None of it is a happy time. We never will get April back. She's gone from this earth. I won't see her again until I go to heaven. But getting justice for her wasn't an option for me. As her mom, it wasn't an option. It was
good. Jamie was on the case. Okay. She saw her daughter. There's no way her daughter could have done all those bruises herself. And she heard what her grandson had said. Okay. And then when they found the fingerprints on that plastic bag that suffocated her daughter, that those fingerprints belonged to her husband, that is a wrap.
Something that I absolutely had to do, and I would have continued to fight for her until my last breath, because that is what a mother's love will do for her children. And I miss her every second of every day, and so do her children. And just knowing that there is justice for her is a huge relief. And so please continue to just keep our family in your prayers. The heartache and grief never goes away. And I will keep you updated on any other case developments that will be coming. All right, guys. So I just wanted to let you guys know there has been an arrest for the homicide of my daughter.
Will Donovan face the maximum penalty, or will the justice system fail April again? After Donovan Holt's arrest, April Holt's family expected justice to come far from over. Denzel, April's 7-year-old son, made it clear he didn't want to go back to his father. He had seen too much, heard too much. In his mind, the man who was supposed to protect him was the same man responsible for his mother's death.
Exactly. Okay. And if that son goes back to his father, the son is not safe either. Okay. If he would do this to his son's mother, God only knows he would do to that little boy. So I don't blame him. I would want to live over there either.
Jamie Dickerson, his grandmother, fought for full custody, determined to keep him safe. But the court ruled otherwise.
Oh my God.
Despite the overwhelming evidence against Donovan, the judge initially granted shared custody, forcing Jamie to hand Denzel over to the very man he feared.
Oh my God. This is crazy. They are tripping. The little boy is afraid of his father. And now we got to do some shared custody? The guy is a maniac.
It was a devastating blow. Jamie had spent months uncovering the truth, only to find herself back in court, fighting another battle. And then the gag order came. Jamie had been one of the loudest voices in April's case. Her persistence had led to Donovan's confession and arrest. But authorities wanted her to stop talking. She was legally barred from discussing the case publicly, silenced from sharing updates, and prevented from speaking out against the legal.
She was a smart lady. I like how she did that. She was a smart lady. She said, okay, you're going to silence me. We're going to do this another way. And she figured out a way to get her words out there without saying a word.
Decisions being made. But the public was watching. April's case had gained national attention, and the outrage was growing. People saw the injustice unfolding in real time, and they weren't willing to stay silent. A petition was launched, demanding that Donovan's charges be upgraded from reckless homicide to first-degree murder. The argument was simple. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't a moment of recklessness. Donovan had staged the scene, manipulated evidence, and walked free for a year.
Exactly.
This was calculated. This was murder. The petition quickly gained traction. Thousands of signatures poured in, calling for the legal system to hold Donovan fully accountable. And though Jamie couldn't
giving back rubs on national television, on the internet, okay, when you know the whole time you killed her.
Speak publicly, her supporters made sure April's story wasn't forgotten. In late 2024, a trial date was finally set for 2025.
Good.
Donovan remained in custody, awaiting trial. The question now was, would the justice system finally do right by April? Will Donovan be convicted? Will the charges be increased? And most importantly, will April's family finally get the justice they have fought so hard for? April Holt's life was taken too soon, but her story did not end with her death.
You know what, guys? Looking at their social media posts, this guy just seemed strange altogether. Something didn't sit well with me. It seems like he has a whole bunch of insecurities. He's on social media faking the funk like it's okay that they might be getting a divorce, that on occasion that they are separated for long periods of time, and he's sitting up there acting like he's cool with it. That's strange to me.
The fight for justice extended beyond the courtroom, beyond the headlines. It became a movement, one that her family was determined to carry forward. For April's children, the loss was immeasurable.
I bet.
Serenity, her daughter, struggled to understand why her mother was gone and why justice was taking so long.
So you got two kids that no longer have their mother because of this maniac that she married.
She decided to take matters into her own hands in the only way she knew how. She wrote a letter to the district attorney, pleading for justice. In her own words, she expressed the pain of losing her mother and the deep need for accountability. It was a simple yet powerful act, one that showed the world that April's children were not just bystanders in this fight. Denzel and Serenity also found a way to honor their mother's legacy of kindness. They launched a charity project in her name, calling it Hugs from Heaven.
I love that name. I really love that name. These kids are now without both parents, okay? They no longer have their mother, and soon, hopefully, the father is going to be locked up for what he did to their mother.
A tribute to the warmth and love their mother was known for. They collected blankets and distributed them to the elderly, the homeless, and children in need. For them, it was more than just an act of kindness. It was a way to keep April's spirit alive. Jamie, despite the ongoing legal battle, refused to stay silent. Even under a gag order, she found ways to advocate for domestic violence victims, using April's story to highlight the dangers of ignoring red flags in relationships.
Like I said, this mother was smart. They told her not to say anything. You got a gag order on you for 8 years. You can't say anything till your grandson turns 18 in 8 more years. And guys, she got on social media and she got her point across. Because if she didn't do what she did, the man who killed her child might still be walking around. So I applaud her for that.
And the failures of the justice system. She connected with other grieving families, those who had also lost loved ones under suspicious circumstances, and together they pushed for change. April's case became a symbol of something larger, a reminder of why questioning initial police rulings is crucial. Her death was almost swept under the rug as a suicide, a tragic but closed case. If it weren't for Jamie's persistence, Donovan Holt would still be free.
That's what I don't understand. They half-ass investigated this case and it immediately went to her committing suicide. It's crazy. Why would they do something like that?
How many other cases had been ruled incorrectly? How many other families had been told to accept the unacceptable? This case exposed the challenges families face when law enforcement fails to investigate properly. From ignored evidence to delayed justice, Jamie had to fight a system that seemed more focused on closing a case than uncovering the truth.
Exactly.
No family should have to do this alone. And that's where viewers come in. The fight for justice doesn't end with April. There are ways to help. Signing petitions, sharing stories, and spreading awareness can put pressure on authorities to take action. Cases like April's show that the power of a determined voice can change everything. April Holt's story was one of love, resilience, and injustice. But it is also a story of hope. Through her family, through the people fighting for her, her name will not be forgotten. The final trial. Will the justice system finally deliver the verdict April deserves? And will Donovan Holt face the full consequences of his actions?
They hate you. You're gonna die. I don't want to do this.